Welcome to episode 93 of the Curios Cast. This week we're talking about the Liver King and the controversy surrounding him. Who is he? What's the big deal? You guys got any idea what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm clued up, yeah.
You're clued up? How clued up are you?
Fairly,
He's big on the liver diet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him on
like Instagram and stuff.
Do you follow Vom Cruise?
I don't know if I do.
He talks about it. He has a podcast as well, but I don't know about any podcast, but he calls him the liver nonce.
Okay, I don't follow that guy because I'd know about him.
Yeah, or like meat nonce, maybe he calls him or something. But.
All right, that's good. So for anyone who doesn't know the Liver King, he's a online personality, and he's just sort of like rocketed out of nowhere in terms of popularity in the last year or so. I think he's got like 1.5 million followers on Instagram, even more on TikTok, like 4 or 5 million on TikTok. And he's like this huge, muscly, like massive beard, sort of like caveman looking kind of guy, but incredibly muscly and huge.
Like shredded.
Yeah. And like that's his whole persona. His persona is all being big, strong, and primal. Primal is the key thing here. He calls his...
Yeah. And not wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, you never see him in a t-shirt.
It's a big part of his persona.
I think the only time I've ever seen him with any clothes on the upper half of his body was when he went to like Qatar or something recently, and he was wearing like the robes, like the white robes that they wear. He's
You see the video of him getting mugged off by Hasbullah? You know, the little...
I haven't seen that, no.
I haven't seen that, no. That sounds good.
It's just like a clip I saw on Twitter of him, like, I think he's trying to shake Hasbullah's hand or something, and he just completely just mugs him off, walks right past him. I don't know if it was a bit, it might have been like a bit, you know. Like,
yeah.
Probably was, but
that's great.
Yeah, that's funny. And part of his sort of message, or his, I guess part of his persona is that obviously he's the Liver King. He's all about eating, not just liver, but other organ meats. He eats them raw as well. So there's countless videos on Instagram of him just chewing into some raw liver, testicles, heart, like all these organ meats, which are apparently actually like better for you than eating muscle meats. Like they've got a lot more nutrients and stuff in them. But he does it in a very sort of like spectacular way.
Bone marrow shit.
Bone marrow, yeah.
Cracks the bones open.
And that's kind of what you see if you're just looking at his Instagram or his TikTok, is him saying we need to live more like our ancestors did. You know, we've strayed far from the path of what we are, of how we're meant to be living. You know, we don't do this, we don't do that. And that's why people are getting these chronic illnesses and depression and stuff. And he does that, but yeah, in 1 minute clips here and there on Instagram and TikTok and stuff.
He also does like stuff where he walks around like dragging fucking boulders and car tires and shit outside, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I actually
like I remember. I think one of the first videos I saw of him was him just like walking out in the woods in the snow with like 4 car tires like chained around him. Like obviously the idea was that this is the workout I do because it simulates dragging a woolly mammoth back to a hunt, back to my family. And
there is like some genuine sort of like benefits to that, right? Like functional workouts and stuff. He clearly works out a lot, and a lot of the stuff he uploads is him. He does this thing called the Barbarian, which is where you wear, I don't know the weights, but you put like a few kilograms in like a rucksack, you're holding some kettlebells, you've got ankle weights on, and you're dragging a sled which weighs like 50-60 kilos or something, and you've got to drag it a mile on, you know, natural surface like grass or sand or something like that. So it probably is actually a good workout.
Oh yeah, I imagine most of what he does is a good workout.
Oh yeah,
It's
he hams it up a bit, and he's sort of like, unless you can do this workout, then you're not a true primal. I make all my kids do this when they hit 13 years old. That's when they become a man, and all this kind of shit.
13 months.
How many kids has he got then?
I think he's got 2 boys, from what I can see, like on his Instagram and stuff. And
he's also got the absolute stereotypical voice for what you'd imagine he'd sound like. Like he sounds just pure testosterone. It's ridiculous.
He does, yeah. And I quite like some of his content, right? And I think he's he's a good speaker. He knows what he's doing, and he's gone around to all the big podcasts, apart from ours. And he's, you get those 1-minute clips on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, but then you can listen to him talk for an hour or two on a podcast and kind of figure out what he's talking about a bit more. And his whole kind of thing is how the way we're living is sort of damaging for society. Like the food we eat is shit. We don't move around enough, and we're not living how we're designed to live. And he has 9 ancestral tenets that he says we should all live by. These are his philosophies about how we should live. And they are sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, bond. So we'll go through each of them just a little bit. First one is sleep, which I think is quite...
That's easy.
Obvious, right? Yeah.
Is that like beginner level? It's beginner level tenet.
I think he's going in order of priority. And I think he breaks it down in chunks. So he says that the first 3, sleep, eat, and move, are like the most important ones. So sleep, of course, getting good quality sleep. And on his website, you can look at all these tenets, and he shows you like, how do you make steps to improving these parts of your life? So sleep, it's all things about getting early morning sun, because that helps set your circadian rhythm, and then you can sleep better in the evening. Don't have too much blue light late at night, and all this kind of stuff that most people have probably heard and know a little bit about. Eat, of course, we don't really eat many natural, well, the average person doesn't really eat a huge amount of natural food in their diet if they're eating a lot of processed shit and stuff, and there's all chemicals and herbicides or whatever in all of our foods, and he's saying we should eat,
especially in the American diet. It's even worse, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just not good for you. So he says eat better natural food, particularly shit tons of liver and testicles and heart and bone marrow and stuff. Move, pretty self-explanatory again, just exercise more. Most people are really sedentary compared to how our ancestors would have been, so we should move about a bit more and exercise, particularly how he does it, which is how sort of replicating how our ancestors would have moved around, running a lot and shit like that. So those 3 I think are pretty basic, and I think most people are on board with that. Maybe some people aren't as on board when it comes to eating organ meats and stuff, but he kind of...
I do think that on that point about like organ meat and offal, I think that's one good thing that he promotes, because obviously I know there's a different discussion about eating meat versus whatever, but if people are going to eat meat, using those parts of the animal is good, because you're minimising wastage.
Yeah,
well, he does say...
I agree with that. I think that's a pretty good thing to promote. Why don't people eat those parts when they are quite good for you, supposedly? It's just because people have gotten used to the fact that it's gross, right? It's like a liver or a heart or...
I think it's purely just because it doesn't...
What's tripe? What is that? Stomach, right? Tripe.
I don't know what tripe is.
Have you ever eaten tripe?
No.
Doesn't sound appealing,
fucking
does
awful.
it?
But supposedly it's supposed to...
I bet it's great for you.
Looks
okay for you, yeah.
Looks awful.
Whee!
I think it's just because that livers and stuff look gross, right? Like you've got... When you've got a slab of, steak or some chicken muscle, it just looks kind of bland, and I think people can stomach that, and also it can probably be put into processed foods easier, whereas like a liver and stuff probably can't. But yeah, he calls it like a nose to tail diet, where he says we use all of the animal. I think he has his own ranch where he hunts the food and stuff. So like, if If you're going to eat meat, that's the best way to do it. Probably is using the whole animal.
So what I want to know is, so when he's hunting the animals on his ranch, right, does he do it like a proper caveman with, a little bit of sharpened iron on a stick, chasing them off a cliff, or does he use a big, massive gun like I expected?
I don't know. I have seen him with guns, and people always comment on his Instagram like, "Not very ancestral of you, is it, using a gun?" or even just when he shows off like his cars, like he's got some big fucking truck, and people say, again, not very ancestral, but then he usually comes back with some kind of argument that, like, our ancestors used the best tools available to them, blah, 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 whatever. But I don't know.
They probably also ate the best food currently available to them. Like.
Yes, true. Yeah. Anyway.
And the easiest, in fact, the easiest. They didn't eat the best, they ate the easiest food available to them.
Yeah.
That's what they would have done. Technically.
The next 3 tenets are shield, connect, and cold. So shield is what do you think shield would be?
I reckon shield is use that PC gaming device thing so you can play your games remotely wherever you are. I reckon it probably means that.
What?
The shield. The shield is like a little like tablet type gaming thing, so you can play like your PC games.
You're thinking of the Nintendo Switch?
No. There's a PC one called the Shield.
Is there?
Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm just chatting absolute.
There's a Steam Deck.
I mean, I'm lost.
I think it is a Steam thing. It's like called the Shield.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's not it.
Is it?
That's not it though.
Is it going to be? Is it going to be like some bullshit about like protecting your family or something, acting as the shield against the fucking saber-toothed tigers?
No. So it is about protecting yourself and your body from harmful chemicals, microplastics, and Wi-Fi. And
oh yeah, because he hasn't got Wi-Fi in his house, right?
He's about that life, is he? I didn't realise.
Yeah, so he doesn't have Wi-Fi in his house. He has because I watched his house tour, and the computer that he works from is hardwired in, so he's got an Ethernet cable. When you come into his house, he's got like a lead box for you to put your phone and stuff in, so there's no
what
things
like
in his home.
Chuck from
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul, yeah.
Yeah.
The posh version of that.
Yeah, and he all his material that he wears is like 100% cotton, so he won't use anything that's got plastic in it. His bedding is like all natural wool, apparently. He sleeps on like a pallet as well.
Does he really? On like a rock hard thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves going on like that as well. Yeah.
He should really sleep in a cave, shouldn't he? I mean, if we're being completely honest, just like on a bit of rock.
That's the
Right,
the NVIDIA Shield, by the way, the Shield is not what I thought it was. But I was close. The Shield is a thing that you stick on like your TV so that you can play your PC games. Okay.
But it's something.
It's close, wasn't it?
I don't think he's got one.
No.
Yeah. So Connect. What do you think Connect would be?
Well, the opposite. Yeah. Obviously, I think
like
you use Wi-Fi, social media. Yeah. But I mean, I guess it means connect with friends and family and people. Does it?
No.
Oh.
So connecting with your roots, ancestral roots.
Kind of roots. So the Liver King's
eating roots.
What is that? The Liver King's 5th tenet of Connect is you would quite like this one, Rob, actually. Connecting yourself to the ground, walking in the grass barefoot, and feeling nature.
Grounding, yeah. Grounding is a thing a lot of people talk about.
Like, so it says on his website...
Sounding or grounding?
Grounding.
The benefits of connecting to the earth include better sleep, improved blood pressure, and anti-inflammatory and protection against EMFs. All you have to do is take your shoes off and put your bare feet directly on the earth, or hug a tree.
Love it.
There was a video of Rob, I think last summer. Was it last summer? If you out for a walk barefoot?
Probably.
And it completely disgusted me. It really repulsed me.
I don't remember doing that, but I mean, I'm sure I did.
See, he's got this benefit of having like his own land. He's apparently got like hundreds of acres of land, and I feel like there's something different about walking barefoot.
You're on your own land.
Like if you have especially if you have a nice grassy area and you can go and walk and you know it's been I don't know. You just know what's been there, I guess.
Well, there's no like, there's no glass smashed there or any fucking needles.
That's what stresses me out. Or like dog poo.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm stressed out about dog poo even when wearing shoes.
Yeah.
So, there's no way I'm going to be zen.
But to be honest, if I'm going to tread in dog poo, I think I'd rather tread in it in my bare foot. Like, as much as that seems a bit rough, like it's way easier to get something off your foot than it is
your shoe.
If it goes under your nail.
Well, why would it be under your nail? What, under your toenail?
Because you might. Under your toenail.
Bro, get someone to bite his nails off for him.
What other nail do you think I was talking about?
Well, I mean, like your fingernail. I was like, how is it getting there? I guess just make sure. Yeah, but make sure when you live in that barefoot life, you got to make sure your toenails are chopped though, like
trimmed. Yeah,
they've got to be trimmed.
There was a woman. I can't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast, but when I was walking around the city here, there was a girl walking around barefoot. There's actually a few people. I've seen probably 3 or 4 people just around the city, in the centre.
That's strong, isn't it? That's strong.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Is it quite clean there, though? It's quite clean.
Although, if I was to walk in any country barefoot, it might be the Netherlands. On any streets. Maybe like Japan, they're meant to be like really clean streets.
Japan's really clean.
Japan's clean. Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know.
Definitely not too, East London.
No, it's physically dirty as well around, isn't it? Like, I have seen a bloke on the train. He wasn't barefoot completely. He had those. Those 5-finger,
I don't know them.
5-finger things. Yeah,
awful. Yeah.
I was buzzing. He was like on the last train. He like been out for drinks wearing them as well. I was like, yeah, gangster.
All right, so we'll go through the rest of the tenets.
Oh yeah,
pretty quickly. 6. Yeah, so cold is getting cold regularly, having cold showers, shit like that. Meant to be good for you. Sun, get out in the sun. Vitamin D. Better for your mental health, circadian rhythm.
Bum tanning?
He does do bum tanning. Doesn't he do bum and scrotum tanning, legit?
Yeah, I don't know if he said about bum tanning, but he said about ball tanning.
Ball,
he
said
about testicular tanning.
Surely that's the perineum tanning that we covered.
He was saying that raises your testosterone, getting the sun on your balls or something.
Of course.
Yeah.
See, shit like that. I don't even believe... I don't believe that he believes that. You know what I mean? He just knows that will be a controversial
clicks or something.
Yeah, that's like a clickbaity thing that people will talk about.
Yeah,
you're full of shit. He doesn't believe that.
Fight is his 8th tenet, which is it's not really about like physically fighting, but it's just saying doing things out of your comfort zone. Our ancestors had to fight every day of their life to stay alive, so doing things that make you uncomfortable. And he says you can start with simple things that can create novelty, like brushing your teeth with the other hand, crossing your arms left over right, sitting in a different chair in a different way, driving different paths to new and old places, taking a freezing cold shower. Don't let yourself exist on autopilot. Do things that remind you what it's like to feel alive. And then he goes on to say you can ramp that up to doing more extreme things like going bungee jumping and other safe but extreme activities and so on.
Punch a racist.
Which is probably, again, I think this is good advice. Like doing things that, take you out your comfort zone and you just sort of grow as a person, right?
Well, that's the thing with a lot of these people. On the top line, that they'll say things which are good advice, obviously. So you can see a clickbaity click, and you go, oh yeah, oh that is good, oh that is interesting, and you get further down the rabbit hole, and they'll be like, buy my shit.
Well, it's like what we said about No Fap November and like the semen retention guys, where it's like, I haven't had a wank for 2 weeks and I feel great. I've been sleeping better, drinking more water, being social, and I feel great. And it's all because I didn't wank. It's like, well, okay, you're doing these things that are just generally good for you. And
so you feel
also
better.
Not wanking. Yeah. So like this, you're doing all these things that are good for you, not necessarily because that's how our ancestors lived and you're a primal or whatever, but they're just things that are good for you, like mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And then the last one is bond, which is basically what you guys said for connect, which was, because humans are tribal animals, he's encouraging you to make good connections, be close with your family, regularly connect with friends and so on. And then he sometimes throws in the 10th ancestral tenet, which is just have a little fun. And I think that's just his excuse for when he posts things about like shooting guns or whatever. He's like, I'm just having fun. That's the 10th tenet. But he just adds more as it goes on. But yeah, they're the 9 ancestral tenets. Do these and you'll become a primal, the strongest, most optimal human.
Not a subprimal. That's like the
subprimal.
That's his like beta, isn't it? A subprimal.
I saw a video of him walking down this like strip where there's all these like food stalls, and he was like pointing at each one and shouting whether it was primal or subprimal. So he would come up to one, and it was like I don't know what would be primal for him. It was just like meat skewers or something, and he's like primal, and then he walks to the next one and it's pizza, and he's like subprimal, and then he walks to another one and it's like donuts. He's like so subprimal. But he just does. He has no embarrassment, or at least well, I guess that's the fight. That's the 8th ancestral tenet, is doing things maybe that are uncomfortable. But there's videos of him like dumbbell curling in front of Buckingham Palace and just being a showman. I'm sure it's a spectacle when you see him in real life, because
I'm sure it is, yeah.
So big.
Because his body's mental. Like when you look at it,
it is fucking mental. Yeah.
It is.
Because like his stomach, it almost looks like he's got a box torso on, because his stomach is just like so protruded.
Well, that's part of the controversy.
Yeah. I won't spoil your controversy, but I just love it. I love the way he walks around, and his body shape is just mental. It looks like a cartoon.
So yeah, like some things that people might not know about the Liver King if you just watched his Instagram stories or you just saw him in the news or something like that, is that he's actually like stupid fucking rich. Like, he has multiple companies that apparently are turning over $100 million a year. And they're all these like supplement companies where he sells ancestral living based supplements. Of
course he does, yeah.
Cool. So he's selling these ancestral based supplements. A lot of them are like, if you don't want to go and buy liver and eat actual liver and stuff, you can. Basically essentially has like desiccated liver in pill form, so you can take some pills and you're getting the same nutrients and stuff you would from liver or heart or whatever. So he's really rich. You can see that if you watch some of his videos, how big of a house he lives in, the amount of land he has. He's crazy rich, and a lot of it was before he became the Liver King. So it's not like he has suddenly got this social media presence and that's what's brought on all the fame. I think his wife was a successful dentist before, had her own dental practice. He worked in pharmaceuticals and made lots of money, and then he's decided to do this whole Liver King persona. His name's actually Brian Johnson. To me, that's a very subprimal name.
It is quite
it's quite a bland name, isn't it, Brian Johnson?
It is quite
I guess that's what I mean. Like, it's such a, like, I don't know, American, like, boring name, right?
Yeah.
Like, he always refers to...
It's a very corporate name.
Yeah, he refers to, I guess, the modern man as the modern manicured man, is what he says. Like, when he's talking about people that go and have an office job and don't do all this primal shit, the modern manicured man.
We had this funny, me and my friend, this is really subprimal what I'm about to say as well. Like, we wrote a poem when we were in college for like this poetry competition, and we wrote it together and we submitted it under one name, like a combination of our two names. And we wrote it when we was high, so like we came like second or something. We were runners up in this thing, and we remember being like, yeah, it was a joint effort. They were like, oh yeah, imagine it really was a joint effort. And we were like really laughing to each other, like, yes, it was a joint effort. But in there, we said the name Brian Johnson. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what it meant to us at the time. There was this line. It was like the Feds. I am Brian Johnson.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember anymore. Just as soon as you said that,
time travelers.
Maybe, yeah, maybe so. Maybe we were.
Must be. It's the only explanation.
I wonder who that was to us at the time, yeah.
So that's the Liver King. That is overall kind of summary of who he is and what you can get from just reading the tenets, what he's all about, the modern way of living ancestrally. But yeah, like I said, he's been on a lot of podcasts. He gets asked obviously loads of questions about the way he lives and what he does. And two main questions that he gets that come up quite often that people disagree with is, are your abs implants, and do you or have you taken steroids in the past? And he always answers those questions, no, not at all. My abs are not implants, and the reason people think they are is because they're like mad. Like you see fit people with abs and stuff, all the time on like TV and stuff. But if they was like sitting down in a slouched position, the abs would go. They wouldn't look the same, right? And he has this weird sort of like almost distended stomach, and there'll be pictures on the screen throughout most of when we're describing what he looks like. But his abs are like on top of the stomach, and you see him on these podcasts. He sits there no top. You see him on like Logan Paul's podcast or like loads of different podcasts, and he's sitting in like a couch, slouched down, and he still has these perfect like 8 abs, like all in position. It just looks strange.
Yeah. They look like little bread rolls just sitting on his stomach.
Yeah,
they're ridiculous. I'm just looking now, like they're fucking...
Yeah, so people think they're implants because if you look up ab implants, you can see people who have got ab implants, and they do just look ridiculous because usually the rest of their body doesn't match. Like they still have like a little bit of like some love handles or like a little bit of fat here or there, but then they've got these perfect abs and you can tell they're just not real. But with him, it's hard to tell because he is really muscly elsewhere, and he just says, I do like 2 or 3 days a week just purely on my abs. Like I just wanted to have big abs, so that's what I work out. Fair enough. And then the other question is, are you taking steroids? He's always said no. I know this body seems impossible to get without steroids, but if you've been working out as long as me, I've been working out since I was 10 years old. You put on a pound of muscle every year, and that's an extra 30, 40 pounds of muscle.
You do the math.
Yeah. And he just says, if you follow the ancestral tenets and you live the way I do, your testosterone will be so high and you will naturally grow this muscle. Like it is possible. And there's a whole fitness community on YouTube and social media where people discuss these kind of things, different people's body composition and how people have sort of grown from... Like, film stars go from one role to another and they have these body transformations.
Yeah, I've been watching More Plates. Is it More Plates, More Dates?
More Plates, More Dates.
He's good.
Yeah, his YouTube channel is More Plates, More Dates. The guy's name's Derek.
That's it.
I've been watching his videos for a while and I really like him.
I caught a couple recently and then saw that one and was like, brilliant.
Yeah, he is so knowledgeable. He doesn't have any like official medical degree or anything like that, but there are people who do have medical degrees, like Andrew Huberman, who's been on like Joe Rogan a bunch, and even Huberman, who is one of the top like neurologists in the world. Even he has said Derek knows what he's talking about, and Derek has even taught me some shit. So, and Derek does these videos, natty or not, which is basically, is this celebrity or athlete or whoever natural? Or are they taking steroids or some kind of enhancements?
Yeah.
And those are the videos that got his channel rolling.
And I don't know why that's still interesting. Like, I imagine that's super interesting to people that like obviously work out and stuff. But even if you don't, like, I can't help but find it interesting. Like, why do I care if someone's natty or not? Like, but I just,
it's just
interesting.
I mean, for a lot of people, it's interesting. Even if you're not interested in like health or fitness, or you're not interested in anything, like even if it was motorbikes or something, if there's someone who's like super knowledgeable on it and can talk in a way about it that makes it interesting,
authoritarian, and
gets you involved, right? So he will pull up this like UFC fighter, and he obviously gets like the biggest names. That will get like Conor McGregor, Zac Efron, this person, that person, and he's like, do I think this person is juicing, or are they natty? And he has always said that he thinks the Liver King is on steroids, but he doesn't think they're ab implants. He thinks he may have got what's called ab etching. And I don't actually know what it is. I imagine it's where they sort of like do basically like liposuction like on your abs and sort of like make the lines,
structure them a bit.
Yeah, a bit more defined. But he
super
says,
cut out any fat.
He doesn't think the abs are implants. He says it would be obvious if they were implants. But he says they are. He is on steroids, and he's kind of broken down the steroids that he thought he was on. And he uploaded a video maybe like a year or year and a half ago when the Liver King first became a social media presence.
No, I think it was fairly recent, and then it's all.
Well, he
has he done a new one recently?
He's done a new one recently.
Oh, right, okay.
His original video was about a year ago, because he obviously gets tagged in things. So as soon as the Liver King even got like a few thousand subs, people were probably like, "Who's this guy?
What's
like,
this guy about?"
Derek, check this guy out. And but Derek never had any evidence. He was just saying, "This is what I think." And Liver King had even spoke about Derek on other podcasts and said, "This guy, more plates, more dates, good videos. He thinks I'm on steroids. I'm really not. I'd love to talk to him more about it." And Liver King even like posted some blood test results that proved he wasn't, but Derek like looked through him and said, "This doesn't prove anything. Like you've only shown some irrelevant factors, and that's kind of it." Joe Rogan spoke about Liver King for a little while, and Joe Rogan's always said this guy's definitely on steroids, and obviously Joe doesn't have as much like credentials as Derek, but Joe's like Joe knows a lot of
Joe
like.
Rogan also call out The Rock recently.
I think
literally in the last day, maybe people.
That's in the same one. They talk about The Rock as well.
Yeah, so Derek was on Joe Rogan.
Derek
and they
was on
speak
it,
about The Rock, and like
okay.
Derek has said in his videos before that he thinks The Rock is on. Well, he says it's obvious. He says anyone who knows anything about muscle growth and endocrinology and whatever knows that The Rock is on steroids. He just says he's not to keep up this like persona.
And they sort of say about how like most people just know not to ask the question in interviews anymore.
Yeah, like if you work for a I don't know, magazine or YouTube channel and you're interviewing The Rock, you're not going to ask him because
which most of his interviews will be now. Like it's never you're never just going to get some random guy get the opportunity to interview him. They're going to be working for someone or doing something, and it will be like, just don't talk about it.
Yeah. And the thing is within the fitness community is they don't mind if you're on steroids. It's about whether you're honest about it or not. So there are YouTubers out there that say, "Oh, I'm on steroids," or "I wasn't, and then I was, and this is what happened, and this is what I've done." And that's what Derek has said, like, "Yeah, I've tried this steroid, I've tried that, I've tried this kind of method," and gives him more of an insight. But
I wondered if he'd done them. I didn't watch enough to know whether or not he'd done them. I sort of assumed he kind of would have done, but been honest about it. I sort of assumed that was his shtick. Yeah,
I don't think he does anymore because he says like his focus now is like longevity and being healthier and stuff. But when he was younger, he fucking, if you see pictures of Derek when he was like lifting and on his steroids, like he was fucking huge as well.
Is it like bodybuild yoked? That's what they say, innit? That's the term.
Yeah, well, they call Derek the delt god because he's got these huge delts, like
even
his shoulder
now,
muscles, and people like make memes where he's like his delts are like Death Stars, and put like the Star Wars music and like, he starts shooting lasers from his delts and everything. It's it is great.
Well, Joe Rogan takes what do they call it? It's like hormone replacement.
Yeah. So just
because being an older man, your hormone drops down. Doesn't it?
Yeah, I think when you're like in your 40s or 50s or something, like your testosterone does lower, and he's been open about it, which people respect, like because he's open about it. He said, "Yeah, I'm taking testosterone replacement. Is what it is." But yeah, as long as you're honest about what you're taking, whether you're taking steroids or these kind of like supplements or whatever, people within the community don't mind. It's people that lie about it is what really gets people's backs up. And that's what Derek's all about, is kind of like bringing that to light.
It's also like the main thing that I guess with all of them, and that's the problem with this Liver King is like, not only you lying about it, you're lying about it for a reason. You know, you're selling some shit.
Yeah, exactly. So
like, yeah, it's always the way.
So Derek uploaded a video. It's about a week ago at the time of recording this, probably about 2 weeks ago for people listening. I don't know how interested our listeners are going to be in going to watching the video, but I love. Like, I thought it was such a great video.
I watched it. It was a really good video.
It's an hour long. It's like a documentary.
Yeah, it's great.
And which is different from his usual videos. His videos are usually just him kind of talking to a camera. But I know he got help from another YouTuber called like Zach Tellender, I think his name is, and he makes more documentary style videos. And I can't remember exactly what it was titled, but basically like Liver King Exposed or Liver King is a Liar.
Liver King is a lie, I think.
Yeah.
Liver King is a lie.
Is that what it was?
The Liver King lie, it's called.
The Liver King
lie, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the best bit of that, isn't it? They talk about the definition of charlatan, and that's really good.
It's such a good video because Derek's never had the evidence for Liver King being on steroids.
Yeah, well, most people doesn't have evidence, does he? He always says, "In my opinion," and it's just like
Derek. Yeah, that's a good point actually. In his other videos, when he's talking about a UFC fighter or an actor and stuff, he never says he's definitely on steroids. He says, I think, all of the things that I can see, like whether it's like the sort of like distended belly under the abs is apparently like a giveaway for people being on HGH, which is human growth hormone. And there's a few other things as well that kind of like add up. And he usually just says, like, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's clever at that, isn't he, to not get done for defaming people or whatever.
Get sued.
Yeah. But this video, he has
Should we start doing that, by the way?
Start doing what? HGH and...
that as well. But also, we should start doing disclaimers at the end of some of our bullshit statements.
I think most of them are full of...
I like stating opinions as though they're definitive facts. But essentially Derek has been forwarded, or these emails have been leaked and somehow found their way to Derek, and they are emails that date back before the Liver King was present on social media, and they're emails between Liver King and an anonymous person who is clearly like a fitness coach, fitness, lifestyle, health kind of, just coach. And the email is Liver King asking for this guy's help, saying, I want to work with you. This is my current body. These are my goals. This is my current lifestyle and diet. And also, these are the steroids that I'm taking as well. And he listed a bunch of steroids. He listed Omnitrope, which is a brand name for a HGH, human growth hormone. And he was taking, this all just doesn't make sense unless it's broken down, but 16 vials, each vial is 5.8 milligrams, and that's over a week, 16 vials a week. It worked out $11,000 a month is what this guy's spending on Omnitrope, this growth hormone. Obviously,
one thing I found interesting quickly, like they call it like your stack, don't they? Yeah. Which I guess I'm going to kind of negate my point by knowing that I now know this, but like I see him before, like one of the things Liver King would do to be like to dispute the fact that he was taking them. He made like a joke, would be like, "This is the only stack that I'm on. I need like have a stack of something else." But I'd be like, I realised as I was sort of thinking, I was about to say, like, how do you even really know the terminology stack unless you're about in the sort of steroid community? But I guess I now know it, but only from. I don't know. I feel again, like I know it, but I don't take any. I don't take a stack. Okay. I guess you could know it if you're just in the fitness community. You probably know. Right?
Yeah. Let's talk about, like, I don't know, vitamin C and like vitamin D tablets or whatever. That's my stack.
Cod liver oil.
Yeah, cod liver oil. It's good for you, mate. Good for your brain. Yes, he was spending $11,000 a month on this. Derek said that he knows bodybuilders that compete in the Open Mr. Olympia. So open meaning they allow steroids in this form of Mr. Olympia.
See, that's the sort of Mr. Olympia I want to watch. Like, there's no
the
rules.
fucking freaks.
Yeah,
just like monstrosities coming in.
That's just Minster Olympia. Yeah, that's all it ever is. Like the main one is just that, basically.
Yeah, but even the ones
if there's an open one, so you want like people coming in where they're like fucking injecting all sorts of shit into specific muscles, so they're like some sort of monster, can't even fit through the door. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, he said even the competitors in that competition take far less than what Liver King was taking. He was taking ibutamoren, which is a ghrelin receptor antagonist.
Who the fucking hell are you calling a moron?
It basically makes you more hungry so you can eat more, but also it allows your body to release more growth hormone than it would normally. He was taking a low dose of testosterone. He was taking DECA, which is short for nandrolone decanoate, which is basically just a anabolic steroid. He was taking Winstrol, which is another anabolic steroid, and he was taking a couple other like peptides as well. So he had a fucking list of things that he was taking, and he even emailed this guy, this anonymous fitness coach, saying this is what I've been taking and how long he'd been taking it for. So some of them he'd only been taking for like a few weeks or whatever, but some of them he'd been taking for 6 months or so at this point before he'd even started the whole Liver King thing. So
he's already pretty jacked, wasn't he? Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Actually, he sent this guy a video saying this is what I currently look like, and he was still fucking jacked. Like he was huge.
Yeah.
Also in the emails, he had detailed out his whole life like routine. So the coach was emailing him questions saying, what time do you wake up? What does your day to day look like? You know, what do you eat? And loads of details. And to be fair to him, the Liver King seems like he is living true to what he preaches. So he was saying, I wake up at 6 a.m. and the first thing I do is barefoot walk out to the lake, get early morning sun for half an hour. Then I go in a cold plunge pool and then I eat this. And what he was eating was like raw eggs and meat and shit like that. So it seemed like he's being truthful to like all this stuff isn't just complete bullshit. Like he does actually do these things apart from
what he preaches.
Apart from all the steroids. Yeah.
Yeah, apart from all the steroids.
Yeah. He detailed out.
That's the trouble with it, isn't it? It's like, it's not, you can say all this shit and do all this thing, and this is what's going to make you like look sick like me, but it's not. Like, you also need to take a fuckload of steroids.
Exactly, yeah. And that's where it's like, if he'd just been honest from the beginning and was like, yeah, I've taken steroids in the past, but, you know, you still need to be disciplined and you still need to do this and this and this.
Yeah, like, I wonder what you just look like. Surely if you just did all the... I guess the point is you probably couldn't do all that shit that he does without... He'd just be fucked because he's like 50-odd. A 50-year-old man couldn't do that.
The idea of the diet, more or less just like a keto diet. You know, I'm not a diet person. You know, obviously I'm not a bodybuilder. But I imagine that he's just eating a lot of lean meat. You know, a lot of protein,
doing a keto thing,
unprocessed. So it's basically just keto, right?
No, there's something weird about keto, isn't it? Where you like eat loads of fat or something. There's a weird.
Well, you just avoid carbs. So I think you have to have less than something like 20 grams of carbs a day or something is keto.
I'm never gonna manage.
No, which is like one slice of bread. So it is ridiculous, but it works for some people, I guess. It just tricks your body. So
imagine
it tricks you into eating less calories is what it does. Like every diet.
But also, it is probably as healthy. You know, if you're eating, obviously you need to work out as well. You can't fucking eat a whole cow's liver and not do fuck all because you'll probably die.
Yeah.
But I wonder the basic stuff is good. I think the basics of it
Well, yeah, that's the same as most of this shit, innit? The basics.
He got corrupted. He got corrupted by all the fucking money.
But like, I wonder what. Yeah, like if he was just doing all the shit and not doing any steroids, like what would he look like still?
Yeah.
But is that the point? Is it like he
would
physically
still look good?
He'd still look good, but like, would it just be like you couldn't hit it that hard?
I guess, according to Derek, I guess so, because he looked at him and said straight away, this guy's got to be on steroids.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
you
like,
still look great, I imagine.
But not like that.
But yeah, I think that's the whole thing with like testosterone and growth hormone is you can work out like crazy and be like ready to hit it. Your body's recovered in half the time it would normally, so you can go hard the next day and the next day and your body recovers where it can't naturally.
There's one thing as well that you see, like when I'm watching from this Derek, they talk about like like which fitness people are natural. Then and they spoke about a couple of people, and then he's like, but like the amount of shit they have to do to be to look like they look like. I mean, even how hard these motherfuckers that are on steroids have to also work. Like,
oh yeah, you
can't be into anything else. Like, you can't do anything else really. All you have to do is eat. You have to watch your eating. You have to fucking cane it at the gym, and you have to sleep. Like that's what you have. You can't do anything else.
No, it does have. Yeah, that's and he usually says that quite often when he says, "I think this person's on steroids." He does say that doesn't take anything away from like the amount of effort and
they still have to bang it at the gym.
This guy's put in. Yeah. He also says in his emails, his plan to be famous. Basically, he says to this coach, I have a goal of hitting 1 million followers within the next year to help promote my brand. I have several supplement companies and stuff, and this Liver King thing will help me. He details it all out. So
it's quite impressive how he achieved it. Like,
he did fucking achieve it.
This is going to be this, and he
expectations.
Yeah, and he's sort of by this point he must. I mean, he doesn't say outright that he's going to claim natty, as they say, but I guess it would be. I guess he must have very much been. That must have also been part of the plan. Like, I'm going to pretend that I'm not banging all this shit. Well, he mentions about it being, isn't it like sort of like confidential? Doesn't he say about that? Bear in mind this is all confidential, and like so it's sort of.
He does in a different
implies
email,
in a bit.
yes.
I was at a different one. Okay.
So also in the emails he gives all of his blood work and results from getting blood tests done and so on. And Derek didn't really go into details on that because he said he did record a video, but it was like an hour long. So he didn't want to make the whole video 2 hours. So there'll be a video coming for that soon. But what was like super interesting is Derek said he was making this video and he was like, wanted to get screenshots of the email. So he went to his inbox, typed in ancestralsupplements.com, which is like the end of Liver King's email. And he found all the emails that had been forwarded onto him. But then he also found emails from the Liver King directly to Derek that date before the emails he first read. So he got these emails that were to some random fitness coach or whatever, and say that was like May or whatever. In March or April, Liver King had emailed Derek directly and said, "Hey Derek, I like your videos. I want to work with you. I want to become a fucking beast or whatever." And Derek hadn't read them. They were sat unread in his inbox. He never saw them because I guess he's got a busy inbox. And he said that it wasn't until last week he's looking through. He's like, oh, fuck. Liver King emailed me himself saying the exact same thing. And that's where he said, I hope this all remains confidential or whatever, because I think he didn't want the whole steroid thing to get out.
So he'd asked him the same thing. He exposed himself, basically. Yeah.
So he'd emailed Derek asking for Derek's coaching help, never got a response. Someone from Liver King's team also messaged Derek and said, "Hey, Liver King emailed you. We really want to work with you." Basically said, name your price. We'll pay anything for your coaching. But at this point, Derek had stopped doing like one-to-one coaching and stuff. So he just never like looked in that part of his inbox or whatever. And then
I think it was that he'd even got rid of the email or something. So like
he'd got rid of the
part of the website where there's a contact form.
Yeah, so he had like a contact form page on his website if you wanted to get involved with some coaching with him.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he said he'd got rid of that page, but had somehow found like the email.
Someone sent him the link or something like, message this guy or
And yeah, it was someone, Liver King himself and someone in Liver King's company asking about HGH dosages and advice and so on. And
the king himself.
Yeah, it was like, it's so good, this like documentary that Derek made where it's like 45 minutes in, he's like, and you'll never guess what. He's like, Liver King emailed me. He's like, oh. It was, I remember I was sitting there, I think I just got in, and I saw this, and I just sat there for like an hour, like watching it on my phone, like, fuck, like, this is crazy. But yeah, since then, it took like 4 or 5 days for Liver King to put out, maybe a bit less, 3-4 days for him to put out a video and acknowledge it. So everyone in his Instagram comments was fucking like ripping him.
Yeah. Do you know it gave me that? You saying about that though, like finding that email just quickly.
Yeah.
Gave me when I saw that bit, it gave me flashbacks. I don't know whether I told you this before to when I got that Facebook unread.
Yeah, I remember you told us about this. Yeah.
Fucking slow-mo guys. Could have done a video with the slow-mo guys.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. There's an alternate reality somewhere where I did that and our band's famous now.
You're one of the slow-mo guys.
Yeah, or just, we had like one successful tour. That's probably.
But so Liver King's accepted and apologized. So he done this like classic YouTuber apology video where he's sitting there in like a dimly lit room saying, "I'm sorry, I fucked up."
When everyone does one of those, it always makes me think of the Always Sunny, where they do like a whole social media bit, don't they? Where they go on with Wolf Cola.
Oh,
they're like, we'll go on and we'll apologise. Like, we're sorry. Like,
the thing with Liver King's video is he literally started off the video by saying, "I was rich and anonymous. I'm still rich, but I'm no longer anonymous."
Oh yeah, he
and
loves saying
sucks.
that as well. Yeah,
and he's saying like, and then he said, "I didn't expect all this attention. It's so hard to handle all the attention that I've gained."
You fucking did.
You did expect the attention. In your emails, you said, "I want to get 1 million followers by this date." And
even without those emails as evidence, though, it's pretty obvious you expected the attention. Like you weren't doing this for any other reason other than that's literally like that's obviously, Dad. You weren't just some like dude just chatting with your mates with your t-shirt off.
Because if you didn't want the attention, you just delete your Instagram.
Yeah.
But I think he was saying.
I love his apology because he sounds so aggressive.
Isn't he wearing a t-shirt in that as well, or some sort of gilet?
He's like sitting on a little box, isn't he, or something?
No, he's sitting on like a fucking throne. Like, is
it?
Yeah.
But yeah, he sounds like so aggressive whilst he's apologising. It's great. Yeah, I don't know where it ranks. There's probably YouTubers that have ranked his apology video like they always do.
Yeah, well, if you type in Liver King into YouTube and just that, one of the top videos is PewDiePie rating Liver King's apology. And in the thumbnail, he's giving it half a star out of 5. Fucking hell.
What was that? That was weird. That sounded like a bus.
Yeah,
is that a tram?
I think someone's pulling up outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liver King confession. He's
coming to bang you out. He goes around everyone's house. He's talking
through my window in a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, the video kind of sucks. He basically said that he convinced himself it didn't matter that he was on steroids because he wasn't competing in anything. So he's not got like an unfair advantage against anyone. And the reason he didn't say that he was on steroids is he didn't want other young men to go and do steroids to be like him. He thought it was irrelevant and he just wanted to help people, blah, blah, blah.
Like it's not irrelevant when you're selling the shit, when you're selling something. Like if you're
he
just
didn't want
like
the money though, did he?
Yeah. If you're just like some workout guy, it still is relevant, but it'd be less relevant.
Yeah.
If you were just like, I'm just jacked, and you never really talk that much, you're just like, I'm just this jack guy, whether or not I'm on, who gives a fuck? Like, then it would be less relevant. Or if you were like a rapper who also is jacked, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's something completely like if you're not selling, if your body is not selling anything or you're not misleading anyone, like
as
much as like your body's probably always selling something. If like you're just known as the Jacked Rapper or whatever.
Yeah.
Good name, actually.
It's a good name.
But he was selling supplements and fitness equipment and so on. So
Jacked the Rapper.
Jacked the Rapper.
I want to get jacked now.
Yeah.
Just to do that.
Black the Ripper, wasn't it?
Black the Ripper,
Jack the Rapper.
Jacked the Rapper.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. So, yeah, Derek timed it very well. Whether he knew he was going to go on Joe Rogan, so released this video literally like 3 days before going on Joe Rogan, or he released a video and Joe was like, "Get down here now and do a podcast with me." But he went on Joe Rogan's after, and Joe Rogan's so happy that
he loves it. What I love about that as well is that he never had the Liver King on, because it's not completely inconceivable to think that he might have had the Liver King on, but then like the way he said that was just like, I just want to have money just to talk more of that shit. Like,
he said, Liver King's tried to get on. I told him no.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
But yeah, that's the Liver King controversy. It's just it's a spectacle of a person.
Well, the thing that's annoying about it is that it's not going to completely ruin his brand or nothing. Like, I'm sure it's going to do some damage to an extent, but there'll still be fuckers. I'm sure there's still fuckers right now in the comments that are saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter. We still love you, Liver King." Like, and he'll still do well. I imagine, and it's not like he's getting dropped from brand deals. Like, when people get when they really fuck themselves up and they do stuff, they'll get dropped from all their brand deals and stuff like that. But it's all his fucking shit. So it's not like he'll just suddenly stop selling his shit. He might like take a shift down in the gears a bit, but it's barely going to affect him.
Yeah,
Do you reckon he'll rebrand to Almost Ancestral?
Yeah, I don't know. Something's going to happen, and he'll come back with some like alternative something. I don't know.
I think he'll just carry on exactly as he is and be fine.
Or he'll start selling steroids as well. Like. These are the ancestral steroids.
What's funny as well is he says in one of the the fourth ancestral tenet, which is shield, protecting yourself from harmful chemicals and so on. He says, "We believe you should avoid man-made toxins and commit to the 9 ancestral tenets. You will unlock the greatest version of yourself, and you'll optimize your testosterone, your growth hormone, your IGF-1, your DHT, key metabolic markers, and you will achieve a higher version of yourself. No steroids necessary." Literally, that's still on his website as of today.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
Still got that there. Lying bastard, eh?
Subprimal.
So speaking of, I just wanted to shoehorn this in. It just come to me. So I was telling some people this story the other day, because this is a fitness-related story that happened to me just a couple days ago.
Okay.
I was in the gym and I had finished working out, and I went to the changing room. I'd had my shower, and I was like, I go straight from work, from gym to work, from the gym to work. So I was like washing my face and stuff in the sink, and right behind me is all the cubicles. All the cubicle doors were open. They were all ajar. So I didn't think anyone was in the cubicles, right? So I'm just there, just washing my face, moisturizing, whatever I'm doing in the sink. And then I suddenly just start hearing shitting coming from behind me. Like, I heard the farts in the bowl, I heard the shit falling into the water, and I heard the grunts. Like, there's clearly someone shitting in the cubicle right behind me. But he'd left the door a little bit open, like he hadn't locked it. That's so weird. The door was
maybe it didn't lock.
Sort of like, no, it did lock, because it's the same cubicle I always use if I need the shit. And I know it locks, but it was sort of like, I don't know, 8 inches open or something. And he's just shitting. I just carry on my sort of like routine. I'm putting deodorant on and everything. He flushes the toilet. The guy comes out and he's eating sushi. Like, he's what? Yeah, I know. I kind of looked at him, and he looked at me as if I was the one who was like, out of order for looking. He comes out and he's got, I assume it was sushi, but he was eating something, and it was in like that black plastic sort of like tubs that sushi come in with, like the see-through top bit. So it was in like a sushi sort of takeaway thing, and then he's eating that. And he's obviously in a rush because he's just pacing back and forth in like the bathroom.
It could have been
just eating the sushi.
Well, it might not have been. I mean, it doesn't make it any less weird that it's not sushi, but it could have been. There was a guy from my old work that used to. I went through like a phase of being on the gym and had bought these like meal prep lunch boxes, and they kind of looked like the sushi things.
Okay,
they had little sections and they had a clear plastic thing, so he's just getting his meal in the toilet.
But. Yeah. He didn't have to take it into the cubicle with him. He could have left it in his locker or just out. So no one's going to steal it. He took it into, because you've got the changing room and then the toilets are like a separate room next to that. So he's taking it in there, taking it into the cubicle. Maybe his hands were full. That's why he didn't lock the door. I don't know. But
there's no time, mate. There's no time to waste when you're getting at it.
And then he was just standing there for another couple minutes.
Who shits in a public toilet without the door locked, or at least fully closed?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's an insane move.
That is.
That's weirding me out more than eating in the cubicle, to be honest.
Maybe that's.
And he definitely did a shit. He wasn't just.
I heard the shits.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Maybe that's the 8th ancestral tenet, which is fight, right? He's doing something out of his comfort zone. I was out of my comfort zone. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to do that like the shitting version of, you ever done that thing, like it's a bit of a laugh. You ever done that where you have a drink and you piss at the same time?
Drinking and pissing at the same time,
and it's like infinite loop or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it's not infinite loop. You need to be like catching it, but...
bit of a laugh. We all had laughs here, didn't we?
But like he was doing the shitting version of that.
Yeah, he was just standing there. He was in his boxers as well, so he'd gotten like unchanged out of his gym clothes, and he was just standing there in his boxers eating this food.
That is super weird.
I'm there just putting my deodorant on and sort of like getting ready for work,
doing regular bathroom stuff.
Yeah, he was just standing there, and then once he'd finished, he washed up his little bowl thing, little plate in the sink, and then just, I don't know. Then he went into this into the sauna a bit, but yeah.
On a full stomach as well.
Yeah, I know. Madness.
Empty arse though, so that's all right.
Yeah, not a full stomach, I guess. A medium.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my fitness journey story.
Weird. Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, that's weirder than the whole Liver King thing.
Yeah, it is. Should have just done an episode on that. Just cut to that.
But yeah, so no surprises for me that Liver King's on steroids.
It's not a surprise.
I think it's just it's definitely not.
No, it's not
100%.
But yeah, it's big news in the internet fitness
in the internet
space.
world. It is. Yeah, just in the internet world.
Well, yeah, it kind of breached its like niche, didn't it? So like,
yeah.
People talk about steroids and stuff within the fitness community, and then it's like first time it's like broken out.
Maybe this was always part of the tactic. Like at some point, it's going to get out, and then at that point we'll just roll with it, and it will probably get us more traction.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'd like to know Push-Up Paul's thoughts on it.
Please text us.
I wonder. He did text us.
Please let us know.
Yesterday, actually. I think he just listened to us last episode. Mentioned that episode 100 is coming up, and he said we should do 100 push-up challenge for episode 100.
That'd be great listening.
Do 100 push-ups.
Yeah, I don't know if that means like who can do 100 push-ups the quickest, because none of us can probably do 100 push-ups anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got no chance, not even.
Yeah, or who can get closest to 100, because then that's just basically like a 25 press-up challenge, basically. Yeah,
I reckon I could probably get to 100, but they might not be proper push-ups.
This guy,
in one go.
Some people, without collapse, probably 50 is my limit. And then
do you reckon you could do 50 without stopping?
I reckon I do 50. But the thing is, I don't know if
big man.
The thing is, I don't know if the push-up that I do would be
if like correct
push-up Paul. I don't know if that would be
count.
his. The form would be correct because I don't know how close down to the ground you need to be. Do you need to be like nose touching the ground? Probably not nose
Well,
touching.
there's no way we're doing this, are we? That's a worse idea than the Centurion.
Yeah.
Maybe when I was at my
in
peak.
addition to Liver King opinion, you need to give us some guidelines for the push-up challenge.
Peak lockdown fitness, I might have been able to do that. Right now, I can barely do fucking 10.
I think I'll do about 30 or so. I'm a heavy lad.
Whoa! Jeez!
I didn't think that was impressive.
You just said you could do 50. You can, as if you're doing 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. Actually, I'm putting you as if you can do 50. My ass.
Well, I'll tell you what. Give me 4 months and I'll do 50.
Yeah.
No, I reckon maybe 30. Probably similar to Tom. Maybe 35. I reckon.
All right, maybe we will have a fucking challenge, shall we?
I better start getting back in shape. Fucking hell.
All right. That was episode 93 of the Curios Cast.
Getting close to the big 100.
We're going to say that every episode.
100.
Out.